Hey guys, Sean here. And this, I believe, is going to be the first video that is going to introduce the new aspect to my channel and things I want to talk about, which is like movies and television. Probably mostly movies, but some television, I'm sure. Um, I've recently, I had recently watched the last couple of Star Wars films and the Skywalker saga. I hadn't seen The Last Jedi yet, and then Rise of Skywalker came out. And so one day I watched Last Jedi, like the day it came on Disney Plus. I could have watched it on Netflix beforehand, but I just didn't have the time to do it. And I took the time the day it came up on Disney Plus. I watched The Last Jedi, and I had heard. I gotta stop paying attention to toxic Star Wars fandom because I had heard some bad things about The Last Jedi, which made me not that excited to see it. And then I found out a spoiler, which turned me away. And then I watched it, and Star Wars just makes me happy. It just makes me happy. I wasn't a huge fan of the prequels, but that was in large part because I thought Hayden Christensen was horrible as Anakin Skywalker, and it took me a lot to get through the poor acting. But Star Wars itself, it just makes me happy, and I just love everything in the Star Wars. Uh, like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it pops up on the screen, and a big old dopey grin comes up on my face, and sometimes I tear up, and it just makes me happy. So I really enjoyed The Last Jedi, and I really enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker, which I saw the other day as I'm filming this. Um, and it got me really thinking about a lot of movies that have passed me by. And like I was watching the previews beforehand, seeing movies that I want to see, and it got me thinking how far away I've gotten from movies, because I used to be big movie person, and I knew all the stuff that was upcoming, and I've always been a big classic movie person, and I've gotten away from all of that, and I want to get back to that. And I think talking about them on the channel, and when I watch stuff and kind of reviewing stuff, and talking about what the movies I've seen, and like I said, and kind of reviewing them, and saying what I thought of them on the channel is going to help me with that. So this is going to be the first of two lists of movies that I am looking at as possibilities to watch. Just ones I'd like to get to in the next year. There'll be more. Other ones will come up, obviously, but as I was sitting down to do that, these are the movies that right now I know for certain I want to watch over the next year, and talk about on the channel, and yeah, just get this part of my channel going finally, because I've thought about doing this for a long time. So starting off, now that I have caught up with the Skywalker saga, I still never saw Rogue One and Solo. I still have not seen Rogue One and Solo. That's the standalone Star Wars story movies. Again, because I paid too much attention to toxic Star Wars fandom that just hates every move that it gets made with the Star Wars movies, and looks too deep into them, and instead of just taking the pure popcorn enjoyment of a Star Wars film for what it can be. So I want to see Rogue One and Solo, and when I talk about those, that is how I'm going to be talking about them, and looking at them is, do they make me Star Wars happy? Did I enjoy? Were they fun? Were they So that is those, and those are further down in my list. So I gotta make sure I mark that I just talked about those. I have been way behind on the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, like way behind, and I want to fix that. The last one I had seen was Iron Man 3, which came out after the first Avengers movies. So from Thor: Dark World on, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen Black Panther. I haven't seen Doctor Strange. I haven't seen any of the other three Avengers movies. Neither of the Star Wars, or not Star Wars, Spider-Man movies. Homecoming and Far From Home. None of it. Haven't seen any of it. And I'll tell you partially why. I had started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it premiered on ABC. And then it got to a point in that show where the next episode was going to spoil events in Thor: Dark World. So I stopped watching because I hadn't watched Thor: Dark World. And then to me, it became too much to try and keep up with if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was going to tie into the movies and to try to keep up on all that I just stopped. And Black Widow is coming out in May, and I really want to see that, but I want to be caught up with the Avengers story thus far. And there's also going to be a couple series coming out on Disney Plus that I am going to really want to see. I don't know how much I'm going to be interested in Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that appears, because I'm not familiar with those characters. But they're going to do a She-Hulk series on Disney Plus. That I'm interested in. I used to love the She-Hulk comic. So I want to get caught up with that and not get in my head too much, especially as I'm looking at bringing this part of my life back in, and my enjoyment of things back into my life. I'm going to try and stay more on top of that once I do catch up. So, but yeah, I really want to get caught up on the MCU films in preparation for Black Widow and the upcoming series on Disney Plus. I want to see, there's a new Daniel Craig James Bond movie coming out soon, and I haven't seen any of the Daniel. I really enjoyed James Bond movies, and I heard at least a couple of the Daniel Craig ones were really good, and I haven't seen any of them. So I want to watch the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. The last James Bond movie I watched was horrible, in my opinion. That was the last Pierce Brosnan one, Die Another Day, and I hated that one. I almost turned it off. I was so bored. So yeah, I want to watch the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. The animated in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I heard great things about it, and it's on Netflix, and I would really like to check that out. I've heard just fantastic things about it. A movie called Ex Machina. I'm going to try to put poster images up so that you can see, even if you're not familiar with the name, you might be familiar with the poster artwork. Ex Machina. I heard great things about. I would like to check that out. There is a comedy movie called Look Who's Back. It is a satire about Hitler coming back into modern day America, I think. It looked funny, and I want to check it out. It's on Netflix, so it's gonna be I'm gonna hopefully watch it the next month or two. I've been really interested in it for a while. This is a movie. The sequel of this movie is on Netflix, but this is a movie I heard about years ago that it was described to me as Nazis in space. It's called Iron Sky. I know the basis is that the Nazis didn't disappear. They're still going, but their operations are on a secret base on the dark side of the moon. And they are finally ready to launch their long-awaited attack. And I've seen clips and previews, and it just looks fun. And now it's got a sequel that's on Netflix, so I want to finally see Iron Sky. Wet Hot American Summer. I want the series, the Netflix series that came out. I wanted to watch that, but I've never seen the original movie that those are based off of. So I want to finally see the original movie so that I can check out the series. I haven't seen any of the most recent Star Trek films. The newer Star Trek films that came out with, I believe, Chris Pine and I can't think of his name now, who was the bad guy in Heroes and now plays Spock, and yeah, I can't think of his name right now, but he's great. I mean, I've enjoyed him in everything I've seen him in. But yeah, I haven't seen any of those, and so I want to finally check those out. They're the only Star Trek movies I haven't seen. The DC movies, even though they have been bashed and bashed and bashed outside of Wonder Woman, which I heard excellent things about, but I want to see them. Man of Steel, Superman versus Batman, the Justice League, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. There's the new Wonder Woman movie coming out soon, Wonder Woman 1984, which I saw a preview for before Rise of Skywalker. Looked fun. So yeah, I want to see them. Couple of the last couple of Jordan Peele horror movies that came out I haven't seen. Get Out or Us. I wanna watch those this year. There's a movie that came out. It was called Yesterday, and it was about this guy. Something happens to this guy, and then when he comes to, he finds himself in a reality that has never heard about the Beatles. The Beatles just aren't a thing. They don't exist. But he remembers them. He remembers all their songs. So he ends up becoming a music star doing the Lennon-McCartney Beatles library because the rest of the world doesn't remember that the Beatles existed. So that's interesting. I'm a big Beatles fan, and that one interested me. The John Wick movies, I haven't seen those, and those just look just fun. And I would really like to finally check them out. The Greatest Showman with my brain is not working today, guys. But yeah, but the guy who played Wolverine. Names are escaping me today, and that's a big one. I think my headache's just affected me too much today. But yeah, The Greatest Showman is a musical. It came out, musical movie that came out, and I heard really good things about it. I just never got around to seeing it. Red Sparrow. I want to look up who was in Red Sparrow because I don't remember. I don't think it was Scarlett Johansson. Any Scarlett Johansson movie that I missed, I want to see. And this is taking me to the book because I am in my Kindle store. Shows what I look up on Amazon most often, huh? Red Sparrow. Jennifer Lawrence was in Red Sparrow. It was based off of a book series, but it's an espionage thriller that I wanted to see and never got around to. The Lego Movie. Two, if I like one, but yeah, I always wanted to see the Lego Movie, and I never got around to it. Joker that came out this year, I heard fantastic things about. And Joker is probably my favorite comic book villain ever. So I really want to see that. Pan's Labyrinth, Guillermo del Toro's first feature film. Never saw it. Heard fantastic things about it, and I've never seen it. It was a movie that came out, I don't remember if it was this year or last year, called Bad Times at the El Royale. John Hamm was in it, from Mad Men, and it looked really good, and I really wanted to see it, and I never did. And the last film on this list is Mad Max Fury Road. I saw all the Mad Max films in the 80s, and I think I didn't watch this because I wanted to rewatch all of the original Mel Gibson Mad Max films, but I don't know if I care so much about that anymore. I just want to see this movie. So yeah, those are the movies, like when I sat down to write this list, came to my head, and when I was looking at things and looking through lists of movies and stuff, those are the ones that went, oh yeah, I really wanted to see that. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna be tackling a lot of this list plus other movies that come up that I just feel like watching, and I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna talk about them and see what you guys think of them too. Hey, what of these movies have you seen? What would you recommend that I push to the top? What movies have you seen recently that you just absolutely love that I didn't mention here that you think I should take a look at or watch and talk about myself? Like I said, this is in no means a comprehensive list. I have missed a lot of movies over the past few years. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know what your favorites over the past, say, 5 years or so have been, and maybe I'll add them to my list and get them checked out soon. Thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you, especially if I have rebranded and you've stuck with me through that. If you're coming to me for the first time. And you are excited about the possible, the movie content I'm going to start doing, and you want to stick around to hear what I think of these movies as I get them watched, hit that subscribe button so you'll know when I post new videos. Let me know too in the comments if you have been a viewer of mine for a while and you are excited about this new aspect of my channel. I would love some encouragement on it. So yeah, like I said, best way to know when I post new videos is hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next one.